Okay, so if you guys needed any more confirmation that Legends Festival is looking like it's going to be GT, this is it. This is what I would probably consider to be a, quote unquote, big boy Zenkai for our friend Super Baby 2. This is, well, we'll get into it later. Let's just read what they say about him. So, Super Baby 2's Zenkai Awakening is coming. Main reduces allied tag GT and tag regeneration subcounts by 5. Switch to standby to cancel allied tag GT and tag regeneration abnormal conditions. Unlock all uniques to buff this character's firepower. So, if you guys were playing this game back during the, I believe it was the period of like in between the first and second anniversary. I think it was specifically like the end of the year, going into the second year anniversary's year. So that first sort of like big New Year celebration where we got this Super Baby 2, we got Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta all released as part of that end of the year celebration. So that was like the big push for GT that they first really ever got. And then shortly after that, they did release the Zenkai Awakening for the green Fat Buu. And that's really when this Super Baby 2 made his debut on the regen team that was basically unkillable. They basically made that regen team unkillable and it was largely due to this character's abilities. So let's quickly take a look at his kit here prior to his Zenkai. Again, this is a pretty old unit. This is a pre-second anniversary character. We already have the Zenkai Awakening for the OG Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta from the OG Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I say OG Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, but there's only one in the game, which is still insane to me. But the one thing I'll point out about this character, and I've been saying for a decent while now that I think an LF version of Super Baby 2 could actually be really good for the game because he'll help a lot of teams. Like Regen, who hasn't really seen help at all recently, except for like a select few, sort of like role-playing characters. GT, definitely they're gearing up for a major GT portion, as part of Legends Festival, so hopefully this guy can make an impact there. Powerful opponent can always use some help. So those three teams, I wouldn't really classify any of those teams as being crazy strong right now. So it's good to see that this character getting a Zenkai actually could help those teams out. But specifically, I think GT and Regen over powerful opponents because of what this character brings to the table in terms of specifically buffing those tags. Okay. So main ability, 50% to allies health restoration for 60 counts. Now this was really the thing that made this guy sort of on that next level in combination with this. It was this effect and this effect. So it was mostly just the healing that made this guy insane. So he gives 50% to allies health restoration for 60 counts, 40% of damage inflicted by allied tag GT or regen characters for 20 counts, and then reduces damage received by 20%, which of course is a permanent buff for himself. So 40% support is a lot. This is a big number, but it only does last for 20 counts. I guess we could potentially see them increase this, the duration. 40% is not getting touched. I don't think they're going to buff the actual percentage that it buffs, but the timer counts maybe. I will tell you right now, they're definitely not touching this. I would be shocked if they increase the amount of health restoration he gave or the timer. It's already 60, right? This is a long time. And then this, literally all I could see them doing is, like they said, they're going to add the subcount reduction by 5 for GT and Regen. And then they're definitely going to make this uncancelable. And that's really, I think, the only thing they're going to do to this main ability, because it's actually already pretty good. So I think this is probably going to stay like this. The first unique ability is 40% damage inflicted against Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan. Pretty basic, but for a character that's about to get a Zenkai Awakening with the stats that Zenkai Awakenable characters get, this is probably going to be just, the same, I would assume. Because this Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan covers the majority of the game anyway, so. And then the second unique ability nullifies own attribute downgrades, cannot be canceled. Applies the following effects to allied tag GT or Regen when this character is switched to standby. Restores health by 10% and then 15% of damage inflicted for 20 counts. So you had a situation where this guy was giving 40% to damage for GT and Regen with his main ability, and then giving an additional 15% to damage inflicted from his unique ability from switching out. So you potentially could give the GT Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta when they were like running the show here. 55% to damage inflicted just from popping your main and switching out once. And keep in mind, this is for 20 counts, so you could potentially overlap this, right? So if you switch out, the 20 count starts. If you switch back into this character and then switch out again within I think a 10 count window, you can actually stack this twice, and you could have a 30% damage inflicted buff rolling across your whole team on top of this. So basically, you have like a very short window where you actually do have 70% support coming from this character for Regen and GT, which is pretty significant. So in terms of what this guy was doing for what, like, if you guys were playing back then, you guys know why this was so powerful. You had Zenkai Fat Buu, who even without this baby on the team was pretty unkillable with as much healing as he was doing, with how tanky he was. His just pure stats as a Zenkai character back then were ridiculous. You paired that up with 50% health restoration, along with all the healing that Buu was doing for himself, and this. Whenever Babies was switching out to Buu, he was healing by 10%, plus the amplification from the main ability, and it was just a nightmare. You all remember what I'm talking about if you played back then. There's no way you didn't run into this this setup. Special move is Revenge Death Ball, Major Explode damage. This is kind of a standard blue card, nothing special here. The green card is a long range priority gaining green card, which is pretty interesting. 20% of damage inflicted for 10 timer counts upon activation, 35 key on hit, and it is comboable. Very, very strong. I love these long range green cards because it's an extra way to gain priority without having to start a combo necessarily with like a blast or something like that. So this could make him a little extra valuable. And then his Z ability, unfortunately, is only one stat, which I think is probably the biggest downside to this character, because I think with a lot of Zenkai units that have come out recently, pretty much every single one, with the exception of like LF Zenkai units, you're mostly going to be relegating these characters to the bench, right? I definitely assume this guy's going to be buffing Blue GT instead of Blue Regen, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm just going to assume Blue GT for now. Think about how much better this character would be if instead of doing 38% to one stat for Regen and GT, like if he was just, 28% instead of 38%, 28% to GT and Regen, base strike, and blast defense. So both defenses. Just lower this value by like 10%, but then make him buff two stats. So you basically would be stacking this on top of the blue GT Zenkai ability, would make this guy a way, way better bench character. But I still think he's going to be fine. Now, the one question that people are going to have is how annoying is this guy going to be when he releases? I will tell you guys this, that even though this is probably one of the most, notorious characters they've ever released, going off of the... what's the best word for this? Going off of the history of Zenkai characters that we've been getting recently, and comparing the level of those characters to the summonable units we've been getting, I would act like, before you guys freak out about this guy getting a Zenkai Awakening, because I can already tell you, without even looking anywhere on social media, I guarantee people are like, oh my god, they're doing this again. This guy's going to be insane. He's going to be so good. I will probably come to the conclusion before he even comes out, unless they significantly change the way that they, are handling these Zenkai characters. I do not expect this character to actually just even make a core setup on Regen or Powerful Opponent or GT. Well, I say that, but it's like GT, we take a look at the GT team, and it's like, who's the core setup on this team? Like, they have like nobody. There's nobody here. So I'm hoping that when we actually get to Legends Festival and the time comes for them to start buffing GT with like actual summonable units, we actually get multiple summonable units instead of just the one LF character, and then that's it. I'm hoping we get at least 3, so 2 Sparkings, like 2 1% Sparkings, and then an LF character to at least make a solid core for this team. But there is a chance that they release like 2 characters. I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing ever instead of just one. Like one 1% Sparking character on the banner, and then the LF Sparking character. In that instance, I could definitely see this Super Baby 2 being a good enough Zenkai to being the 3rd inclusion of the main lineup on that team. But you still have characters like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. If they give Omega Shenron his unique equipment, he could be good enough as well. The Super Saiyan 4 Goku is certainly not horrible. The free-to-play characters are okay. I think the Super Saiyan Goku is pretty solid. Super 17 is pretty solid. I think I probably would say I like Super 17 better than this Goku. This Zenkai Super Saiyan 4 Goku's okay. Again, Zenkai characters typically aren't designed to be main core on the team instead of just bench, right? But I would probably curb expectations for how good they're going to make this guy. Unless, again, they significantly change the way that they, I guess, their outlook on Zenkai units. Because for the longest period of time, I would say probably for the past, like, year or so, pretty much ever since they made these Zenkai characters free to obtain, which is ironic, I guess, they really haven't been the greatest core characters. Like, you don't really run into these teams on PvP where it's like, okay, they're running a full 6 Zenkai character team, right? That used to be very common. You used to run into, you know, Yellow 18, Yellow Demon King Piccolo, Purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku, you know, all the time, right? You even take a look back to Legends Festival last year with the Goku and Vegeta, the tag Goku and Vegeta. You ran Mono Purple, like the whole team was pretty much a Zenkai team, right? You don't see that anymore. And the reason why is because they've just stopped making these Zenkai characters like the cream of the crop. They started making these LF characters like the androids or UI Goku or Dragon Fist or these Ultra characters, Ultra Gogeta, Ultra Vegito, like Broly. Those are the characters that you're seeing as the cores of these teams, and they've pushed out Zenkai characters from being, you know, the best of the best in the game. But for a team like GT, a team like Regen, we can pull up Regen as well. I just don't think there's enough here to really warrant you not using like a powerful Zenkai character if this guy ends up being a powerful Zenkai character, which I think he probably will be. Regen, I could definitely see less of a case for, because I definitely think Regen is probably better than GT is right now, believe it or not. Kid Buu with his unique equipment is very good. I think this guy's pretty underrated, the Red Buhan. Actually, Metal Cooler, I think probably is the best free-to-play character still. This Purple Cell's still pretty good. Obviously, Piccolo's really good, probably the best character on this team. But I don't know. We'll see how they make this guy. The one other thing I will mention, though, about what this guy's doing is his main, I guess, gift to his teams are the healing buffs. We have the actual just HP restoration buff, and then we have the like just general raw healing he provides to the team upon switch out. I think when you compare this meta and the way that the game has evolved to when this guy first released and how oppressive his healing was back then, I don't think the healing is going to be as important in this meta, just because a lot of the times you're just killing people in like one hit, right? Either you're just rushing people, or Beast Gohan is one-shotting people with his blue cards, or you're doing such a long combo that, you know, it's just like unavoidable to take like 80% of your health in one combo and not die. So I don't really know if what this guy is bringing to the table is as important as it was when he first released. So that's something else to keep in mind. But I definitely do hope they make this guy good, but not too good. That's my hope. And then I guess the one other thing I'll say is for GT specifically, because again, it looks like we're moving into a GT focus meta with the way things are panning out for Legends Festival this year. I do hope that this guy ends up pairing well with whatever major LF character we get for GT this year, because that is really one of the only ways we can actually have GT take control of the meta again based off of the roster. And this is just a product of them neglecting this tag for so long. Like, again, who's the best character in this team? Is it Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? It probably is. And I would say the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta he's still good, but he's not anything close to what he once was, right? You take a look at like every single LF character that released this year, it's like he's definitely a victim of power creep, that's for sure. So let's just hope that this Super Baby 2 can augment the power of what we're about to get during Legends Festival. I think that's kind of the best shot this guy has at being a premier character again. So I wouldn't freak out about him right now. Yes, he was ridiculously oppressive when he released, but based off of their outlook on how they've been handling these Zenkai characters, I don't think we're going to see a world where, you know, you queue up into PvP, and if the enemy's using this character, you just are at like an extreme disadvantage where you just don't want to play the game. I don't think we're going to be in that world again. Unless they, again, significantly change the way that they are going to design these characters. So we'll see. Let me know down below what you guys think of Super Baby 2 getting a Zenkai Awakening. Again, should be released tomorrow along with the weekly reset. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one.